So, Starmer has now been accused of spending less on defence than Neville Chamberlain. And the person accusing him, well, he knows fully well, because it's Neville Chamberlain's grandson. So Keir Starmer has been criticised for planning defence spending levels far below those seen before the Second World War. And the comparison comes from the grandson of the former Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain. Incidentally, side note, little tangent, didn't put it in the script, but Neville Chamberlain's cousin was Charles Napier. And if you want to know who Charles Napier is, watch the old 1960s Batman. He was Alfred the butler. Anyway, the claim has reignited debate about whether the UK is investing enough in its armed forces. Neville Chamberlain led Britain between 1937 and 1940, and during the 10 years before the Second World War. He's widely remembered for pursuing a policy of appeasement towards Adolf Hitler, including the Munich Agreement of 1938, where he returned with a piece of paper. I have in my hand a piece of paper. That allowed Nazi Germany to annex the Sudetenland region of Czechoslovakia. But, according to his grandson Francis Chamberlain, the former Prime Minister was also committed to rapidly expanding Britain's military capability in that period between the appeasement and the beginning of the war. He said Chamberlain believed rearmament was essential as the threat from Nazi Germany grew. Now, Francis Chamberlain said that during the 1930s, Britain dramatically increased its defence spending because the people in charge could see what was happening. Between 1933 and 1938, the defence budget rose from roughly 2% to 6.7 to 7%. By the outbreak of war in 1939, that figure had increased further to approximately 10% of GDP. By comparison, UK's current defence spending is estimated to be 2.3% of GDP. Starmer's government is committed to raising the figure to 2.5% by 2027. Well, whoopee-doo. Francis Chamberlain said his grandfather recognised it. In fact, I'm going to say now, he won't need to do anything. All he has to do is wait. The economy is going off a cliff. And so if you don't change the defence spending, with a smaller economy, it is going to naturally grow up to 2.5% without a single brass farthing being spent. Now, Francis Chamberlain said his grandfather recognised the urgency of the situation back in the 30s, but defence spending increased to 186 million in 1937, representing a £50 million rise compared with the previous year. And to fund the expansion, the government raised income tax and introduced a national defence contribution on businesses. Controversial at the time, but the measures helped finance Britain's war effort. Despite the rise in defence spending that we currently have, though, we're nowhere even close to that. But, we're sitting in a position now where in real terms there's been a £2 billion reduction in spending. And nobody knows how we are going to pay for anything should anything happen. The biggest problem they have is welfare. There's too much of it, but Labour are adverse to cutting welfare. Perhaps we do need a war. We send those on welfare out first. Everyone who's claiming any kind of welfare, put them on a uniform and send them out. At least they'll be earning their money at in some way or form. But global tensions are rising, conflicts are emerging, and it is getting a far more dangerous world. And I don't want conscription. I was just joking about that. But I don't want conscription because I don't think anyone should be sending their children to fight because Starmer's desperate for his sad little war so that he can sit there and knock one out and going, oh yes, I'm a war leader. Or at least Ali will have a reach around and do it for him. But let me know what you think. Thanks a lot. Bye.